Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing okay. If I sound a bit funny, it's because I am still sick, but also because I just woke up. I thought that I would film this video this morning. I normally film on an afternoon, so my voice has not been used yet. But I kind of wanted to get it done because I've been thinking about it. This isn't the video that I was meant to make this week, but I think it's the video that I want to make. I've been thinking about starting a new infodump series, a bit like the Filofax infodump. I think making those videos helped sort of keep me in the routine of upkeeping my Filofax. I was really into it anyway, but it kind of helped me along some weeks. And it also gave me, I guess, some accountability and stuff to keep it moving. I think it would be nice to maybe do that again with my traveler's notebook because I am testing this thoroughly. I am hoping, if you don't remember, that this might replace my Filofax and how well that system worked. I'm hoping that this could be the solution to the small problems I had with it, mostly archiving, and also being overwhelmed by pages eventually. So I do want to give this a really good, honest go, and therefore I will be with it for some time, ideally. I am kind of hoping that if I start an infodump series, then it will just help me do that, I guess, and keep me interested in talking about it like I did with the Filofax. I think that was cool. It is also nice to do it sort of every couple of weeks. I kind of miss the routine. So I think that's what I'm doing this week. I'm gonna start that. Next week I will make that coffee with gloom video for you unless anything super exciting happens and I make it an archive week, but not likely. So I promise I will get that done for you. If you have any questions and you haven't already put them in the post, there's a community post on the community tab for the video, and it's like an FAQ video, so you can ask questions and then I'll answer them all sort of like this. So I'm not going to preamble, I'm just going to jump into it. I want to talk about how I'm using this because it's kind of evolved a bit. And I'm really enjoying the space. I think the first thing to say is that the best thing so far about a standard size traveler's notebook is that you get the width of a Filofax page, basically. It's very similar to the size of the page I was using. And then you get the height of A5. So you really almost do get the balance and the best of both worlds. I find that it's enough room that I can stick as much as I want in most ways. I can write as much as I want. I have so much space to work in without it being as overwhelming as a full A5 page can be. Not always, but can be. So I think it's a really nice balance. I'm enjoying having that little bit much more room than I had in the Filofax, just height-wise. I can write a little bit more each day and I can play around with the composition of things a little bit more. And I think that's cool. So oh, the other thing is that I did change the cover slightly from when you last saw it. I actually still have my mini super alien stickery thing. I stuck it to the side of my desk to keep it safe. I don't know if anyone else does that. You can stick a sticker to any surface. So I stuck it on the side of my desk to keep it safe so I can use it again in the future. But I did take it off here just because I wasn't 100% feeling it. And what I did in the end was I kept my little clover from the Midori foil sheet, my 7s. I kept the brass tag with the 2024, and then I added this business card pocket, like sticky adhesive pocket, and there's a picture of Peter Murphy from Bauhaus in there, and then just a paper clip, I guess, to kind of make sure it stays stuck and also because it looks cool. So that's where I ended up with it. I like this a lot more. It feels more like minimal, I guess. I think I could change the photo out too, which would be nice if I want to do that. Could have seasonal photos, seasonal musicians. I just think I like it more. So that's the change there. I will just dive straight into my books and I'll start with my commonplace book, or my everyday book as I think of it. I don't really have names for them. Oh, also my pencil board, of course. I joked on Tumblr earlier this week that the real MVP of the last 14 months throughout the chaos and the experimentation was my Hobonichi pencil board that I've carried dutifully throughout every single system. I do think that's kind of funny. It suddenly occurred to me that this one is her. She's been with me the whole time. She's the secret to happiness. Still carrying her around. She's just the perfect size for so many things. I mostly use it as a bookmark and a ruler. I don't use it as a pencil board for writing on top of. I don't put it under my page. I just use it as a placekeeper, and a ruler is its primary function for me. I think using a ruler like this is so underrated compared to like a thicker ruler, like a normal school ruler. I will never look back. I need a longer one. I guess I need a Traveller's Company one because I can't draw down the full length of the page. I have to do it in two. Anyway, not relevant. But my little dated booklet, self-dated booklet, it's a blank booklet from Sterling Ink, 64 pages, has the grids, and I am a grids or bust person, so it's great for me. I'll leave it there. Okay. So you saw some of this, I think, in the last video, maybe the last Attic Archives episode. But here is what's going on. I have these date stickers I'm using to give myself some structure. I think this could be an undated booklet easily, especially because of some of the other stuff I have going on in the rest of my system. But I do like the routine having this book be dated gives me. I think that's something I carried over from my time in Hobonichi and the Day Free and also the Cousin, is that if I have that little date in the top of the page, it keeps me going every day. I come in to add my little daily notes at the bottom of the pages, and that's good for me, I think. If I didn't have that, then some weeks I just don't write as much, which is something I found with the Filofax, and I think it was fine. I don't think it was the end of the world and it wasn't really a problem. I was always writing down the stuff that mattered or that I wanted to write down and I wanted to keep, but there were weeks when I did no writing at all. And I don't know if that's something I want, especially in the summer when I know I'm struggling. I think it's helpful for me to take the time and to be introspective and to gather thoughts about how I'm feeling and about my days and stuff. I think maybe in the winter I can get away with being less frequent, but in the summer I think I need the stability and the room to air it out, if you know what I mean. So it's been nice. So it's the same setup as my Day Free and my Cousin. I'm doing daily bits at the bottom of the pages. And then this top half, confusingly, is basically undated to me and I use it freely as commonplace. Some days I do use it for putting in stickers from the day, so some days when I have more going on I do use the whole page. But majority of the time this is kind of my commonplace section, and I like it because it's a good amount of room. I have a nice paragraph here and then I get the margin as well. And some people have been asking again recently about what my margins are for, and I use them to collect extra thoughts or I elaborate on the text. I collect additional notes. Sometimes I just keep a small quote there but it doesn't fit anywhere else. It's that kind of thing. It's everything that you would normally use a margin for generally. It's kind of just like elaborating. So I might have text about something here and then I might think about something later and be like, oh, that's kind of relevant, and then I can come back and add it on this side, if that makes sense. So it's that kind of thinking. I like it. I like a system that lets me go back and forth throughout all the pages. I think it's kind of nice to keep going back and touching on things. So it works really well for me. It's a system that works. I have the day of the week written down up here, and then these small dots are tracking sleep disorder symptoms. It's not really necessary to talk about, but I just track symptoms with those, so I get different ones each day. Up here I collect the category for the page, I guess. It's the indexing, it's the topic of the page, so I use purple for brain drain, which is like personal daily notes. I use this one now for media tracking. It's like a pinky purpley colour. I have another colour similar that is more pink, I want to say, and I use that for like days out, but I don't have any in here yet, so there's nothing to show. I use the grey one, wherever the grey one is, for commonplace text, so that's when I'm copying out text that is not my own. Always write down the author, of course, and the title, and often the book it's from or the page numbers, that kind of thing, the link. Keep as much information as possible so I can find it again later if I need to. And then the blue one, which is the same colour as the small one but big, I use for work notes, but I don't have any in here just yet. I actually have some to write up today though. So I'll show you quickly through the book what's going on. I think you saw these pages about the Tamagotchi Uni Monster DLC. Very excited. I'm so excited to try and grab the shell because I think the shell is so cool compared to the existing one, which is not the cutest. However, my Tamagotchi currently, I have Momochi. She's 14 days old. That's 14 real world days old, which is an achievement for me because I normally get bored. I just think she's so cute, and I gave her some headphones and some ghosts as an accessory, and I just think that's neat. She's often in the afternoon taking a nap with her iPad, and I just think that's very relatable behaviour. So looking forward to when the monster one gets released, because if you have two you can connect them, and they can play with each other and go over each other's houses and stuff, and you can get extra items, and you can unlock extra Tamagotchi characters too, I think, if you marry them. So I would like a second device, and I would like it to be this Halloween looking guy. I just think that would be sick. So still waiting for that, still too excited about that. Here I have some books I read. And then I've got a screenshot, some photos from The Ring. I've been really into The Ring recently, specifically the one from 2002 and its sequels, which are not amazing but are watchable. The first one is my absolute favourite though at the moment. It's just such a comfort movie for me, very much in the style of me watching Constantine 2005 6 times a week. I've been watching The Ring weirdly often. I just think it's so soothing. There's something about it, like all the video stuff and the VHS stuff, like printing screenshots from a massive VHS machine. And the colouring of it, like it looks like the first Twilight movie. It's all like blued out and I just think it's so cool. Anyway, I've been into that, so I've got that there. This is when I got some Traveller's Post basically from a small shop in the UK. I was getting some little index sticky tabs mostly, and some pen refills for my pen. Still using the really small Uniball one. These are called the 1P or something. This was bothering me when I first started using it. It was cramping my hand up, but now I'm really used to it, and it's really comfy. I did buy some of the full-length Uniball 1 pens to try because people kept recommending them, but I'm so attached to this little guy that I just haven't used it yet. So Mirrors, because I rewatched Mirrors, actually better than I remember. And then I've got a little photo from a walk with Wednesday, some text from a Mark Fisher book I've been rereading. Pet Sematary Bloodlines, that's the sequel to the new Pet Sematary, the Pet Sematary reboot. It was not very good. First Omen is a prequel to the Omen movies, and that was actually really good, and also hella gross. Very disturbing, but it was really well done, so I enjoyed that a lot. And then here I've got that article that I printed out previously for my day free, so it's the H-Word Bringing the Horror Home for Nightmare Magazine, and I just like it a lot. I wanted it here again, so it's here again. That same image as before as well. And this is kind of how I've worked out my commonplacing for printing. These are the Filofax columns, and that way if I make everything for Filofax size still, I can kind of repair that system if I need to. It kind of keeps the door open if I want it to be, which I think is nice, because if these don't work out, I will just be back in Filofax for my main system. It worked so well that I can't really dispute it if this doesn't work. So it's nice to have that done so that I don't have to then go back and redo all of the work. It would just be a matter of printing and cutting. And I think it looks okay. I did stick one of them wonky in my other book, which I'll show you, and that's kind of a nuisance, so I'll have to be careful. Last couple of days I've got some pictures I took of my notebooks, my little booklets. Very satisfying, I do have to say. It's really nice to have lots of little booklets going on. It's nice to be able to dip in and out of them all. And then this is yesterday, and I have a photo to print out this morning, which is why it's empty. Wednesdays are the days I run errands, so there's nothing to see there yet. And then today. So we are up to date and it's going really well. I think this is nice because with 64 pages I can get around 2 months in a book. I did mess up slightly by putting the last 4 pages of May in here because it means that I won't have enough room for the whole of July, which means that I won't have enough room in the next book when it comes to like September, which is annoying. I need to try and balance it out somewhere somehow. I might have to end July like 4 days early so that I can start fresh for August in a new booklet and fit 2 months exactly. One of my other books might have to pick up the slack for those 4 days. Would not be the end of the world, and it would be better than being stuck in the cycle. So that's my little daily booklet that I've been using the way that I've used everything forever. And then moving into this one, or maybe I'll show you the book quickly because it's small and there's nothing in it. I have the same style booklet, 64 pages grids, for my bog book. This is the only extra booklet I bought so far, and I chose the green cover because it's bogs. I printed out my title page from my Filofax because I think it's really cool. First of all, I just really like it. I added some extra notes down the bottom here. And then all I have is like an introductory article so far. I was just trying to work out how I wanted to lay it out. I've been copying all of the information out from my Filofax, which is working fine. I'm just doing it slowly. This is the one that I stuck a bit wonky by accident, and it's so frustrating. If you can see, it's like curved. It's because I guess the glue is so sticky, and then I was trying to smooth it down in here and I thought it was fine, and it's like curved. And I've left it because it's that thing again of like good enough is good enough, which is a big thing I stand by and believe in, but it is so bothersome. I need to fill the rest of the page up. I have some stuff to put in, you know, my gaps, but a nuisance. I might find something that I can paperclip because it will bother me. Especially because I got the ones in my commonplace book down so perfect, and even on the first page they're so good, and then what happened? But that's the bug book. I will backfill from the Filofax. There's not too much in there. And I'm using those Stalogy bob coloured stickers that I talked about, which is nice. I'm using this green one for commonplacing because it's my favourite colour. And then I'm using the dark green one for... oh, I can't remember. I should have written it down. I'm going to use the brown one for my own stuff though, so that would be days out and book reviews. If the green one is commonplacing and the brown one is my own stuff, what is this one for? Oh man, I can't remember. I should have written it down. Okay, I'll work that back out. I did have a system sorted for it, and 3 dots was perfect because it doesn't need that much maintenance, but it's failing me. Okay, we'll come back to that. Ask me about that in like 3 weeks' time. Okay, and then lastly, I introduced a common planner into my system. I picked this up because I did find that my daily commonplace booklet was sometimes not enough room, and as I said, I really like the dated structure, so I didn't want to undate it. I don't want to leave pages in between dates. I like the way it works. Basically, I'm really happy with how this is set up and how it moves, how it rolls. So I don't want to change it. I don't want to tinker with it. I could easily solve the problem by just adding more pages, but I don't want to. So what I did instead was introduce a common planner. We're only 6 months into the year. We're like 5.5 months into the year. Is it 6.5 or 5.5? 5.5 months into the year, approximately. I keep thinking it's a lot later in the year than it is, and when I bought this and it was discounted heavily, I thought, oh, it's going to be a shame to only use it for like a small fraction of the year. And then I was like, we literally still have half to go. All that work I did in the Filofax, I can do again. I can do the same volume. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's still so much time left. I don't know why I'm so confused about where we are in the year. I do wonder if maybe it's because some planner companies start doing pre-orders this early, and then so people talk about it, and then I think I just get confused about where we're at, and also because Hobonichi will start doing their previews in August. And I think, so when you get to the midway point and people are talking about their systems and they're reviewing everything and then there's murmurs of pre-order, I think I just get turned around. We still have a good chunk to go. So just a reminder for myself and everyone else, if you also need the reminder. If you don't and you're fine, then that's fine, but just to let you guys know in case you also got turned around. So I picked up this common planner, really reduced, and I was really glad about that because I wasn't sure if I would like it, and it's nice to be able to try it with less stress. So this is the Traveler's Notebook, obviously standard size, which is called N1 in sterling ink. It's the horizontal compact weekly planner, or common planner for the year, full year. I will just show it to you chronologically. So going in, and just to say my impression so far of all sterling ink products has been great. I might understand the hype, but I might be loyal. They're really well made, and the paper is just... so there's this little intro thing with the name of the planner, and then there's an overview of the months, and there's space down here to write, which is quite a nice touch. Grids throughout, which is nice because sometimes Hobonichi don't do that. And I love a grid. It's grids or bust for me, and these are perfect too. They're really light. My kryptonite always is when a grid is too dark. I'm a migraine prone person with the visual aura, so if the grids are too dark, it just spins my eyes out really bad. It gives me a headache, it makes me feel queasy. I just don't like it. These are so light. You can see on this side, this is how light they are. Here they look darker because they're layered up, but it's so faint, which could be a problem if you have anything that affects your vision in the other way. But for me, perfect. Someone did also ask me on Tumblr if the fact that the grids are not completely square in some places bothers me. It's kind of mixed throughout the book. I think these ones, they look square. In here, oh no, they're not, they can't be. Okay, so the grids are not completely square. It's like 0.2 millimeters taller than it is wide, and no, it doesn't really bother me. When I first bought the book, I thought to myself, like, oh, that's a bit weird, I'll have to see how I feel. And then the book arrived and I started using it, and I swear to God, I literally never thought about it again. I completely forgot it was a problem. So for me, that's a non-issue. If anything, it's quite nice to have the extra room to let your words breathe on the pages. For example, in my weekly pages that I'll talk about later, it's kind of nice to have that little bit of extra space between each row of text or line of text. Things just have a bit more room. So I think, if anything, it's nice. I quite like it. It doesn't bother me. It's a minimal fraction, and for the light grids and for grids throughout, like, all the perks of this book are better, I guess. Badly phrased, but you know what I mean. They really outweigh the cons, which potentially could be that it's 0.2 millimeters tall. It's not an issue for me. It doesn't bother me. It might bother you, but just so you know, that's a thing. So small heads up, but not an issue. You get this goal breakdown page, so you have someday, 1 year, half year, quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily, and I like this. I don't know what to do with it. I'm not really a goal person. They kind of freak me out. I always just think I don't like them. I feel like when I set things like that, goals, it just jinxes me or something. I'm too superstitious, I guess. But I do like this. And if you can hear me buffering, I think this is really neat, and I'm not mad that it's here. I think I would like to use it. I think I would use it to plan like illustration projects, because that feels less stressful. Like, maybe I could have things that I would like to work on, and then I would be able to reference this, and it would be a lot easier than trying to find the note I have stored in my phone. It's like 12 pages long. But I haven't done yet. I've had other priorities, I'm not there yet, but I do think this is a neat feature, and I like that it's so blank. You could also just cover it up really easily, which I think is nice. You could cover these if you wanted to, and then you would just have extra space. So I like this. I just don't know how or if to use it, but I think it's a nice feature. And then you can also break your priorities down as well. So this is done quarterly. So this is quarter 1, and you get these big gaps for writing, and then you get like a calendex, and then it's done by each quarter, which I think is quite nice. I'm not mad about that. I think it's kind of a nice layout. Again, haven't used it yet, but I would be inclined to. I just need to work out how I want to. I think, if anything, maybe this could help me plan my work better. Like, I would never have thought to look at it like this across these 2 sets of pages. But it might be helpful. So I will revisit that, just not right now. Maybe not in the summer. Moving straight into my calendars then, something more interesting to look at. I backfilled these from my Filofax. Obviously all the information was there, so I just copied it out, and I'm really glad to have done it, because in my Filofax I have it on 2 pages, and then on the reverse of those 2 pages there's other stuff, which means that I've never flipped through my decorated calendars chronologically like this, like one immediately after the other, and it is weirdly satisfying. I really like being able to see them all together like this. I didn't expect that to be a perk of this, but it really is. Like, I just really appreciate it. I guess I didn't know that they were so consistent, and like every month I try to capture the mood of the month in stickers, and when I flip through them chronologically like this, immediately, one after the other, I can like feel it. And that's something I talk about a lot with my journal style pages, my commonplace pages, whatever, so this is nice to have captured that feeling again. I feel like I'm always trying to capture the mood of things. And I'm just really glad that I managed to do that here. Looking forward to filling the rest. This is May, and we got some of the summer stickers here. And then this is June, so we're not decorated yet. I always fill out my dates and appointments and some notes, and then I come back and decorate sort of at the end of the month. So there's nothing to see there yet. And then what happens is after you go through December, or January too, you get your weekly pages. So these are laid out like the Hobonichi weeks, but bigger and with the grid on both sides, so better in my argument. That was always my biggest pet peeve, I guess, was that for some reason the left-hand page in the weeks has no grid, and I don't know why. It's like the only book that does it too. Like the other Hobonichi books have grids throughout, so I would love to know why they did that. But this has grids the whole way through, which is phenomenal work. Obviously I have nothing these pages. I've been thinking about backfilling the early ones from the Filofax, but I don't want to make too much work for myself having just started, so we'll leave it for now and I'll think about it. How I'm using this is like my Hobonichi weeks. I have little notes from my days and summaries on the left, which I like, and then for this column I've been media tracking, so it's kind of like video games, music, TV, films and books, so media. But it's just nice to write down a little about what I'm reading and watching each day, because sometimes I move through things quite fast and I forget. Here I'm keeping a running weekly to-do list like I used to. I didn't do this much at all in the Filofax. I found that maybe through the winter I just don't need it as much, but in the summer, again, I just really need that stability and the structure, so it's been nice to have it back. I didn't miss it while in my Filofax, but I'm glad to have it now and to have room for it now. It's been helping me a lot the last couple of weeks just to sit down and think about what I need to be doing, so that's good. I have been thinking about adding a weekly photo into my books in this section because it's empty. I don't think it's the end of the world if it stays empty. I think it's maybe kind of nice to have a space that's less decorated, that's just functional, and then you draw a line under it and it's finished. That's this week. But I also think it could be nice to fill this little space with a photo. It might be nice to capture the feeling of the year through a photo a week, but I am worried about bulking. Especially if I always stick the photo in this section, it means they'd be layered up throughout the book, and then it means the bulking is concentrated to one area, which is not ideal. I did also think about backfilling photos in these earlier pages, so that even if I don't put any text there, I have the feeling backfilled, which is something I did in my in my cousin, and that worked well. So I kind of thought about that, but it's the same problem again, where if I do, it kind of adds to the bulk. And I don't know how much I want this one to bulk up, because this is my yearly book. So my two little books will change over relatively frequently. Obviously the big book less so, but this one especially 2 months at a time. So I don't know if I want to bulk my yearly book up, because I have to carry it for some time. But again, I want to work the way I want to work, and then I'm like, I don't know, like the pros and the cons, so we'll see. But adding on to that as a concept, the nice thing about this system and about what I've worked out here is that I feel like I have unlocked the secret of having a big book of everything, like a yearly book that it's a nice volume to hold. It has so many pages. Like when you hold it, it's like, it's nice. Like that's a nice book, you know? And then I have the little booklet too that changes over frequently. So I have like the micro wins, and then I have like the satisfaction of a bigger book. So stuff to archive relatively frequently, and that I can stick anything and everything into because it doesn't matter because it's only 2 months long. And then that big reference for out is like, I don't know. I think that's why I'm so content at the moment, and why I want to make a new infodump series, because I just feel like maybe I've unlocked something by accident. So I just think that's cool to have the both options together is just good. So but yeah, I don't know if I'll stick photos in. I'm still thinking about it. I've been thinking about it for over a week already, but I'm not any closer to making a decision. This is this week's. I've got a birthday this week, so that's written down. I'll write appointments and stuff like that too, just because it helps. And then to-do list coming along okay. I ran a lot of errands yesterday. And then I will carry on like that, and I'll draw a line under. I did not do a lot of media tracking so far this week, but I haven't been consuming much because I've just been working. When I'm focused on doing illustration work, I find I don't interact with other stuff as much, and I've been focused on that, so. Here I have a little sticky note. This is introducing the notes pages. So this is the compact version of the book, and it still has 120 notes pages, which is intimidating for someone using other booklets on the side. But I have worked out a really fun solution that I've been enjoying, and I didn't expect to enjoy as much as I am, so I'll talk about it. This is a sticky note to remind me to make some sort of cover page. I was using these notes to break up the sections because I'm using these pages for references, and that's really fun. This is my mac and cheese recipe. It has, it's front and center. It's the one I reference the most, so it's good to have it there, good to have it to hand. So this is my food reference section, so it's a mix of recipes and then just like lists to remind me of things to eat. I am not the best eater, never have been. I am really bad at just eating toast for all my meals because I can't be bothered and I don't really like food that much, which is a whole thing. So I have some photos here, sorry, to help motivate me to want to eat. They're like really aesthetic photos, found them on Pinterest. I just look at this and I think, yeah, I could probably eat some avocado. Or yeah, I could go for some instant ramen or a good cup of coffee. It just helps me, you know, think about it a bit easier. And then up here I just have a list of meals I like to eat. So I've got it split into low spoon and medium high spoon, as in easy to make, low effort needed, low energy needed, and then like more effort involved. This is breakfast lunch foods. I don't really eat breakfast, I just eat lunch, so this is lunch, and then I'll do a set for dinner. And then I have a couple more recipes to copy out as well, but I've only left like 10 pages for my food references because I don't care about food. And then I have video game references. So this is for the Tamagotchi Uni. That's my little guy. From day 5, we're 10 days on. So proud of us. I've got the growth chart. This is the girl one, and then the boy one is on this side because the egg you get determines how your evolution goes. I've got references for how to get the pets in the garden, and then this one is for the DLCs. You can get specific characters depending on what they interact with from the DLC, so I've got that as a reference there. And then I've left a lot blank because obviously the monster DLC is coming out. Maybe I'll get the angel DLC too, so I need room to add that information. But really useful to have because I can never remember how to get certain tamas on the Uni. And then after that, I have Stardew Valley. I started a new playthrough for 1.6 and I've been playing other stuff recently, but it's still helpful to have it here. I will go back to it at some point, as I always do. If you remember these pages, I made these for my original A6 Hobonichi back when I restarted the channel. It's nice to have them here again. I've got the community center bundles. Under that I have my museum reference, because I like to order my items by color. So I use that as a reference. I look at that all the time. And then I have likes and dislikes, and don't really need it at this point, but I still like to have it. And then the calendar underneath too with birthdays and crops. So helpful. I will add some notes about my current playthrough, maybe some screenshots. I left one extra double page spread for that so that I can put stuff for Ginger Island, which I have never actually successfully made it to, I don't think. I always really take my time playing, especially the first couple of years, so I've never managed it. But I'm only like one item. I think I missed like the pufferfish or something stupid from the community center in year 1. So I completed everything else and I missed one fish, and I'm kind of mad about it because I've never done it in year 1, but I could have if I had tried. So then I have my Sims 4 Legacy play. And I play with vampires, mostly on long lifespan, so my Sims have really bad same face syndrome, and also no one ever ages. I guess that's partly genetics, but I play with vampires on long life, and now I have a werewolf too, so we don't need to look at all of this really. I've been playing for a real world year, and I'm only on generation 4. Long lifespan with vampires is so fun, but also like it never ends. So I like to take my time. I get really attached to all the characters, but we don't need to talk about it because it's kind of embarrassing. You just know that I'm taking that very seriously. And then I have nothing else to show you, that's it, but I have been working out some of the extra sections. Oh no, I lied, sorry. Okay, so after that, I've left like 6 extra pages because I'm only on Gen 4 and I've taken up so much room. I have too many Sims. I need to like, there has to be less people around. I'm gonna have to thin down the herd because there's too many Sims. And I'm only on generation 4, you're meant to get to generation 10. Not even halfway through. So moving on from that with all those extra pages, I have an area for special interests. This is just like comforting reference stuff, things I can look at when I'm feeling cagey and weird. This is for commonplacing, so I've got some photos. This is a pinboard I have, and then I always print this photo out. It's from Pinterest. It's just a little summary thing. I just think it looks kind of cool. It's really like the bare minimum of information, but I just think it's kind of neat. It looks like a PowerPoint and a little photo as well. And then I just wrote down my intentions for the books and how I would really like to stick with it. I also have this little photo here that I printed out of like a stack of Traveler's Notebook books. It doesn't really fit anywhere on the page, hence why it's floating around free on my desk, but I kind of want to have something like that in here. I might print a bigger one and then put it on a hinge. That kind of works. Maybe I'll do that. It's kind of cool. Just to remind myself that I do want to stick it out and give it a real go, not to be distracted, not to be tempted by other stuff anymore, because I do have a system that I know works in the Filofax, and all I'm trying to do is adapt that way of working to here. So it just reminds me that like this is where I want to get to. I want to have everything together in one place, really, ideally. So it's just a little reminder. I'm gonna stick that there, just so you know. If I forget, remind me next week. So that's just some notes about that kind of thing, my intentions and what I want for myself. Kind of included in that, I've been taking a break from Instagram. So if you're messaging me there, don't. There is a note in my bio anyway that says DMs are unmonitored, because it's chaos. I can't keep on top of it. It's so bad between the requests and my friends and then everyone else, other people. Like it's never ends. It's like emails but worse. And it glitches too. I have really bad glitch problems in my Instagram DMs. I don't know what's wrong with it. I don't know why the app can't function, but it's always glitching. Everything gets broken and messed up, and I get the wrong names attached to the wrong messages and stuff, and it's just baffling, and things disappear after I reply to them, and then I'm like, where did it go? So I've been taking a break, partly because of the messages and partly because I think seeing everyone else having so much fun in their systems is a tempting thing, and I know that's hypocritical of me when I sit here and talk about my books, but I guess just for me personally, I want to commit to this now, and I would like to take a step back from looking at everything else that everyone else is doing, and I think it's helping. I think it works, unfortunately. So after that, I'm gonna have pages for, in the special interest section, autistic Sherlock Holmes, probably, spooky stuff, bogs. Even though I have a bog book, I think it's still nice to carry the bog around with me. And then maybe like, what else? Maybe like unsolved mysteries, kind of related to spooky stuff. Oh, and then I ran out of pages because then we're in the sleep stuff section. So this is where I will keep notes for my sleep appointment. It's coming up, it's in July, it's just over a month away, and I am so scared. I'm not gonna lie. If you've noticed me talking about sleep stuff slightly less or being weird when I talk about it, it's because I'm so scared. I am simultaneously so relieved they did not push my appointment again yet, and also absolutely shitting it that I would actually have to go to the appointment and like advocate for myself and talk about my stuff to some middle-aged man who doesn't care. If you've been through the system, TM, like the medical system, you know that it's the worst thing to be a sick girl patronized by weird old men your whole life. And I've really been through it when I was young, so I'm really nervous. That being said, I will need references for my appointment. I will need some notes that I can read, so that when I panic and he's staring at me like I'm silly and telling me it's stress related, I can back it up with my notes about how I've been experiencing things. So I need to organise those, but I've been kind of procrastinating it on account of being terrified. But I am running out of time, so I will get to it. It's just not today, you know. After that, I don't think I have anything else mapped out. I did have some sticky notes in here, but they were like curving the pages because the adhesive on these Midori sticky notes are so sticky. But there's some other stuff. What I want to do is add a section for work notes so that I can keep those all together and I can see my progress throughout the year. So I might just use the rest of the pages for that. This is only like 40 pages out of 120. So many pages. But it's kind of nice to have that much room to work in. And it means that I can keep references in this book that I can look at often, rather than always putting them in lots of small books and having to keep recreating them. So I think it works well. The too long didn't read, I guess, too long didn't watch, is that this is working really well. All of these 3 little guys are working great, and I don't think I need any more books right now. I think this is the perfect amount. The bulk stuff I like to have in one book because it's very specific and because the information is relatively easy to find and to accumulate. Spooky stuff I don't mind having threaded around, but the bulk stuff is nice to keep together for reference as a field guide when I go places. So optimistic because I've only been to 1 book so far, but you know what I mean. I think it's nice. How I've been laying these out in here is that I'm not even using the strings. I should mention that. I'm not using the strings because when I put my books in and out, I find that I'm always tearing up or bending the top of the pages or the bottom of the pages. That causes me some stress. I don't really want to do that. If you're really careful, you can do it without doing it, but it's a risk I'm not keen to keep repeating. I find that I don't need my books to be attached because I take them out to write in them anyway. It's just to carry them around, and it's nice to have it as a protective cover, and to keep it all together. But I find it's been okay. So I have my book on the bottom, and then I have the clear zip thing. Have my index dots in here, and then I normally put my common planner in the middle of this one, and then I put my commonplace one on top because it sticks out a bit. And this is the one that it doesn't matter so much if it gets a bit torn up on the edges. Ideally, I don't want my common planner to take the brunt of the wear and tear because it's a yearly book. So obviously 2 months in my little one is okay. And then if I wiggle it around enough, I can normally get it, yeah, with just a little bit sticking out. So it's the zip pocket rather than my books, which is okay. Common planner is tucked in there, book is tucked in there, and then it's my 2-month book that gets a bit shredded on the edge, which I think is okay. This is a really manageable number of books to be carrying around and to be working in, and also it looks good. I don't think I could actually fit another one in here realistically. But I think it's really nice. I'm really happy with it. I just carry them around loose like this and nothing ever falls out, so it's fine. And that is where I'm at. That's what I wanted to talk about this week. I wanted to show you how things are coming along. I thought it was going to take more time before I told you, but I feel like things are progressing quite rapidly, and the longer I leave it, the more there is to talk about. So from here, I can just update you when there's stuff to update on. Otherwise, I will be continuing on like I did in Filofax, making those little weekly updates and adding to the reference pages. And I'm really excited about it. I feel good. I feel calm again, which is nice because the last couple of weeks when I was moving around in Hobonichi a bit, I wasn't feeling so calm. I am still intending to use my day free as my like liminal space. So if I start to feel like I want to be somewhere else, then I can do the Hobonichi one. And again, it's that thing of if I have a Hobonichi on the side for every now and then, it means that I can stay in the Hobonichi loop if they release cool covers, which they haven't really done the last couple of years, but if they do, I would like to have a reason to be able to get one. And the day free as my liminal space, my liminal space book kind of gives me that, my every now and then book. So that's where I'm at. I am dedicated to this right now, so this is where I'm at, where I'm in. And I think it's really nice. I hope this was interesting for you. Every time last year I moved around, I felt really nervous, but this year I think with Filofax and now with this, I am inching a little closer, I think, to what I'm looking for. Which I'm aware sounds ridiculous on this channel, but I'm very content and I'm hoping this is going to work out. I'm hoping my plan is to stick with this now for the rest of the year to give it a real go. I'm not sure when Sterling Ink do their pre-orders for planners for next year, but I would like to stay in here at least until then. Just as like a small goal for myself, I guess. I guess I could put that on my goals page. But there we go, that's how it's working. I'm really excited, my little gloomy archive. Okay, next week I will make the Coffee with Gloom video. So if you have questions, please pop them on the community page. Is there anything else? I always feel like I've forgotten something I have to tell you about. But I think that's it. I will update you on other stuff next week, probably. I hope you have a lovely weekend, and I will see you next week.